wheelbarrow is sure making a lot of noise now. It's soon time to retire. It's only like 40 or 45 years old. It was one of the first wheelbarrows I ever bought, and it still works. The wheel has no bearings left in it. The handles are just almost completely rotten off, so I'll use it once in a while, not too often. So yeah, let's get back on topic. Hot compost. The only reason I was using the old wheelbarrow is because my other one's full of dry manure, which is horse manure that's been sitting around for a little bit. So what I needed some fresh manure. I'll show you guys what I mean. See, this right here is the dry manure in my normal wheelbarrow, and this is my old wheelbarrow. And this is what I mean when I say fresh manure. It's the stuff that horses have passed out in the last couple of days. Well, not the last couple of days, the last day actually. So yeah, this is my compost pile over here. So I'm going to move the camera off to the side a little bit so you guys will be able to see instead of just looking at my backside. There, hang on, I'll move it a little bit more. It's hard to see because of the sun is like really blasting down out here today now. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my ventilation. The main reason I use the ventilation is so that the oxygen can get to the bottom of the compost pile, and that'll actually give it a better start, because microorganisms obviously need oxygen. A spout that goes on a downspout off eaves trough. I like this one because it's stretchable and I can, put it in a lot further. This is just a PVC pipe. I've been using this one for years. Now you notice I don't put the ends close together, because if you put the ventilation too close together, what happens is you get too much cold air coming inside, and that could actually cause the microorganisms not to start to do their job very quickly or efficiently. Now, this is just a pipe that I use. This one is a hose that I've been using for years. I put lots of holes in it, so it lets oxygen get in there much more. I'm just going to put that one kind of right there like that. Now I'm going to put on the fresh manure right over top of it. Now that's my fresh manure I got on there now. I'm going to throw a little bit of dry over it, a little bit, because I'm going to be adding yeast. Now you don't have to do this step. I do, because I want it to be, I want this compost pile to be ready in roughly about 6 weeks. So I always try to give it a really nice quick boost to get it started faster. This is just regular baking yeast. Okay. So what we do now is we just have to cover all of this. Now that's going to be the center of the pile. Oh, I'll leave it like that for about 4 or 5 days. And I'll just keep adding compost now for the next, I'd say for about a week. Because if I had compost every day, that adds a day longer to have it finished. So I'll probably do maybe another 2 or 3 wheelbarrow fulls today. I don't need quite as big a compost pile this time of year. because like I said, I want to have it done in like 6 to 7 weeks. Fall of the year is when I'll usually use like the compost that you just watch me work and get done and put in bags. That compost pile was almost level with my head. That's how much the microorganisms eat from the compost pile. They shrink it down to 1/3 the size, half. So yeah, you need a lot of manure when you're using a hot compost style. And that's pretty much how you do a hot compost. Make sure it gets some oxygen down below. Put in some fresh manure, then you can put some dry. If you don't want to use yeast, you can just add some water to make sure it stays moist. Now, the next few days I'll come up and add water to this compost pile because it's pretty warm and windy. The sun won't really beat on it because I cover this with a black tarp to keep it nice and warm. I hope this explains the concept of hot compost. Oh, maybe I should say, I think I've already explained it at the beginning of the video, but compost pile needs to be a minimum size of 4 by 4 by 4. And your compost microorganisms will be in the center or at the bottom. There was about 1 foot of compost underneath where I put my oxygen supply in. Because I don't want it right on the ground because the ground is actually cool. So I want it above the ground a little bit. Because once the microorganisms start heating up, they'll actually heat up the ground that's there so that they will actually go down to where the ground is and break all of that down as well. Now because I used a lot of dry compost or dry manure, I'm adding water. And it takes a fair amount of water to seep down through all that manure because it absorbs water quite rapidly. So like your compost pile will not start if it's dry at all. It needs moisture. And this time of year, I'll probably add moisture to this once every 3 days. All depends. Like once it starts cooking, the steam that comes off usually will keep most of it moist, but you'll have to check it constantly in the summertime. And that's one of the main reasons I'll cover it in the summer with a black tarp. The heat stays in and the moisture don't evaporate. Now let's see how deep that actually went. I put quite a bit of water on there. See how far down it actually could go down. See what I mean? I put a lot of water there, and about 6 inches down, it's still bone dry. So, it takes a bit. But like I said, once it starts cooking, the moisture, the steam that comes off the moisture will penetrate from the bottom up, and it will keep the manure moist. It'll give the microorganisms a chance to multiply and consume a lot of the matter. So I'm going to have to put a lot of manure on here. Because it does do better in the summertime. It cooks quicker. Wintertime, because you have freezing temperatures, you have to have a bigger pile because it's so cold outside. And you notice I'm putting most of my water in the center because this is where I want it to kind of trickle all the way down. But yeah, that should be good enough now. So I'll cover it with my tarp. The thing is I don't want it sitting flat on top of my compost pile. Like not all over because obviously it's plastic so oxygen can't get in if I do that. So I always try to keep it up a little bit. I usually do that with some sticks, some little logs like this. So I'll take them and I'll stick them in there. So it keeps the poly up. Like if you've never done Hot Compost before, try it. It's really worth your while. It does really create one of the best composts that you could ever use in your gardens. So yeah, if you got anything out of the video, maybe consider subscribing. Hit that like button and smash that bell icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And thanks for watching.